Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley, and today I'm going to be helping you decide if you want to work in an inpatient setting or an outpatient setting. I have my cheat sheets right here, so we'll begin with the video. Before I begin though, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who's recently subscribed to my channel. It really makes me so excited when someone subscribes to my channel or even comments, so please keep subscribing and please keep commenting and letting me know what videos you want to see. So let's get into the video. First off, I want to say that I know as a new grad RN, usually people say that it's best to work in an inpatient setting, like a hospital setting, because you're going to build up your skills, you're going to, learn how to manage your time, and it's just, you'll see a lot more in the hospital than you will in an outpatient setting. And I have found that to be true. I work as little life update. I got a new job and I work in orthopedic surgery in an outpatient orthopedic surgery center. But before this, I worked in 2 hospitals on post-op orthopedic surgery units. So I've been able to see how it is working in a hospital setting versus, like an outpatient center. So I feel like I can, help you decide and give you some things to think about on this topic. So I'll begin by talking about the inpatient setting. So, inpatient. It's very, we'll get into it. In the inpatient setting, you're gonna have more flexible hours. Usually people work 3 days a week and they work 12-hour shifts. So you could work Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and you'll have Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Or you could work Monday and then you work Saturday and Sunday. That is a con of working in a hospital. Usually you will have to work weekends, but you do have a lot of flexibility in your schedule. Say you want to take a trip from like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and be off the rest of the week. And that is a really big pro, I would say, of working in the hospital, is that you definitely have a lot of flexibility in your schedule. The next pro, I would say, is that say you work in orthopedics, like I do. Say you work in that kind of unit and you've always wanted to work in pediatrics. Well, once you've already been in that hospital, it's easier for you to move around into other areas because you work there, you already work within the system. So a lot of times people do move around in the hospital. So although I might not have any pediatric experience, they know that I've been in the hospital. They might know my managers. My managers can vouch for me if I've been a good worker, which I am. But you have people within the hospital setting that can vouch for you for other positions that you might be applying for. I know that can get sticky sometimes, but a lot of times if you have a good relationship with your manager, hopefully they will help you in your next steps in your career. So that can be a positive of working in the hospital setting. Another positive is that if you're looking to become a travel nurse, there's so many available positions for you in the hospital setting. I'm sure there are in the outpatient setting, but I haven't heard of them as much. I usually hear more so about travel nurses being in the hospital. So that's something that you're looking into in the future. The hospital is a good place for that, and you need a lot of experience, which is also something else. You get so much experience in the hospital. I think I had mentioned that before, but since you're getting all that experience, especially as a new grad in the hospital setting, then you'll be set up, 1-2 years down the line to have a position as a travel nurse within the hospital. So that is something to consider if that is something that you want to do in the future, which it's a really good option. So the major cons, I would say, is that your work-life balance, while you do have a lot of flexibility in your schedule, I don't think there's the greatest work-life balance because you do have to work sometimes every other weekend, and who really wants to work on the weekends when everybody else, maybe your family or friends, are usually off on the weekends and you want to do fun stuff on the weekends with everyone. You don't want to work. You're not trying to work on the weekends. That is a big con of working in the hospital. I had to do that when I worked as a patient care tech, and it just sucked. And you also usually have to work a rotating schedule of weekends and holidays, and it sucks when you have to work on holidays and you can't be with your family and your loved ones around that time because you're at work. And yes, you are doing good work by, helping out in the hospital, but you also want to focus on your life too. Your job isn't your life and things outside of your work matter. So that's something to take into consideration when you are considering working in a hospital. So now I'm going to talk about outpatient. So I've only been outpatient for a little bit of time, but I can already see some pros and some cons. I would say a pro is that you do have much better work-life balance because you usually have more of a stable schedule. So whereas in the hospital, you're going to be you don't know what your schedule is going to look like every week. You know you're going to work 3 days, but you don't know what 3 days you're going to work. In the outpatient setting, and this is from my experience, and I think this is pretty common in the outpatient setting. If I'm wrong about this, please let me know in the comments below. But in the outpatient setting, usually you're gonna have 3 scheduled days that you're gonna work every week. I don't wanna say, it's not gonna always be 3. It's 3 for me, that's what I work right now, but you could be working the same 3, 4, or 5 days each week. But you usually aren't gonna be working weekends or holidays, which is a huge plus. You get your weekends back, you get your holidays back, you just work during the week, then you have your weekends off. So that can be very nice. I know in the outpatient setting, they do have, like where I work now, some people do work 5 days a week, some people work 4 days a week, some people work 3 days a week, 3 12-hour shifts, but they're the same 3 12-hour days, if that makes sense. If you're looking for balance in your life between working, spending time with your family or friends, or working out, doing things that make you feel good, I would consider doing outpatient. And there's usually no night shift when you work in an outpatient center. I know urgent care centers can be different, but I think they usually have a cutoff point. I don't think people usually work night shift for urgent cares. And if someone needs help at night, they're gonna have to go to the emergency room in the hospital. Some cons of working in an outpatient center is that you're gonna have to work those same scheduled days. Like it's not as flexible as the hospital, which can be very beneficial. Like you're gonna have your same days a week that you're gonna have to work, and if you can't work those, then you gotta use your PTO, or you don't work, you don't get paid for that time. So that can be a con if you do like a more flexible schedule. Also, you're gonna be on day shifts, most likely. And if you're a night shifter, it's not gonna work for you because you're gonna be day shift and you're gonna be there with everybody, family, friends, managers, okay? They're all gonna be there, all gonna be there with you. So there's usually no night shift. And I know many people like night shifts, so that can be a huge con for them. And another thing that I've noticed, and this isn't everywhere, but it also probably depends on the time of year. But if you work, say, 3 12-hour shifts in an outpatient centers usually are open from this time to this time. I work in an orthopedic center, so it usually depends on what time all the cases get done with, what time all the surgeries are done. So say I'm supposed to work 12 hours, but we start surgery from 7:30 and surgery ends around like 3:30. Then I'm done for the day. I don't have anything else to do. I'm not gonna get my full 12 hours. So hopefully you'll have, a job where even though you work 3 days a week, you can still work like another 1 or 2 days to try to make up for the hours that you missed on those days that you had less than 12 hours. So I don't know if that is how it is at every place, but that can be something to consider. In the hospital, you have shift work, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. But in the outpatient center, it all depends on when the cases are done for the day. So if you're done early, you leave early. If you're done late, you leave later, but that's just kind of how it is in the outpatient setting. I want to add one more thing. In the outpatient center, you're not using as many skills as you did in the inpatients, in the hospital setting. So if you like using a lot of skills, if you like doing a whole bunch of Foleys and doing all this like really intense stuff, the outpatient setting is going to seem a bit slow for you. Yes, there's going to be busy days that you'll have in the outpatient setting, but you're not using as many skills as you did in the hospital, and you're not going to see as many urgent cases in an outpatient setting. So if you do like the adrenaline of like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to get in the hospital setting, the outpatient setting is not necessarily for you, I don't think. It's just me thinking this. It's very different. And so far for me, I guess, in the outpatient setting, I've had to do a lot more paperwork, whereas everything is all on the computer and there's a lot more charting in the inpatient setting, which nobody likes charting. Nobody likes charting. But in the outpatient setting, you do a lot of paperwork and not so much on the computer. So you might like that, you might not like that, but that's just something to consider. So these are just a few pros and cons to consider when, trying to figure out where you want to work. I would say that as a new grad, I knew that I did not want to work in a hospital, but there's always so many hospital positions open and it's easier to get a job in a hospital. And also a lot of outpatient centers won't accept you if you haven't had inpatient experience in a hospital, because that is where you learn a lot of your skills and stuff. Because usually in the outpatient, they want you to be more prepared and ready to kind of like jump in there and work and not have to they will train you, but a lot of times they don't want to have to train you as much as they do in an inpatient setting. So I know it can be hard when trying to figure it out. I know it can be hard if you don't want to work in a hospital and you just want to work in outpatient, but they keep telling you that you need hospital experience. I hate saying this, but I will say maybe just get a little bit of inpatient experience and then try to get to the outpatient as soon as possible if that's what you want to do. But I hope this video helped in trying to figure out where you want to go. I hope it wasn't too all over the place. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know. Thinking about making a video talking about the pros and cons of working day shift versus night shift. So if that's something that you want to learn about, that you're interested in, please leave a comment down below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.